Hey guys, it's Bailey. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back to another video. And if you're new here, thank you so much for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to be continuing the 50 States Build series. If this is the first video in this series that you've seen, I got the idea from Griffey. You guys should definitely check her out if you haven't already. I'll have all her links in the description down below. This is the fourth video in this series, and today we're going to be doing Wyoming. Just a disclaimer, if you're from Wyoming and this house looks nothing like what you've seen, I do apologize. However, I tried my very best to do as much research as possible, while also adding some fun aspects to it. So in researching for this build, I found that the most common home style in Wyoming is usually the ranch style home. I really wanted to build this house in a forested area with lots of mountains and trees in the background, so I ended up building it in Moonwood Mill, which is the world that came with the Werewolves game pack. Some key features of ranch-style homes are that they are usually one story. Sometimes they can have a loft or a semi-finished attic, but the ground floor is the main floor and there's usually no real upstairs. They also usually have an L-shape or U-shaped floor plan, a long and shallow pitched roof line, and you'll often find a decent amount of outdoor living space. So for this build, I did actually make the house 2 stories, but the second floor is fairly small. While I would still consider the second story to be quote unquote real because I used it for 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, I don't really think it takes away from the look and style of the house itself. Also, the main living area is completely open concept with easy access to the kitchen, dining room, and living room. Since the exterior of ranch homes usually have a lot of outdoor living space, I built a wraparound porch around the main shell of the home, and I also included a barn and some of the farming plots from the cottage living expansion pack. While I am aware that not all Wyoming homes are farm homes, obviously, I still really wanted to do something that was somewhat different from my past builds. And actually, as of right now, even though I really, really love the horse ranch build items, I've actually never played with horses. So I thought it would be really fun and interesting to include 2 hay beds in the barn. I also really like to include a lot of skill building items in all of my builds, and I figured a barn would be a really nice place to keep the woodworking table from base game and the flower arranging table from the Seasons expansion pack. For the fencing around the lot, I used a lot of the debug fencing pieces from the Werewolves game pack, and then for the exterior wallpapers, on both the home and the barn, I really wanted to use some darker and more rustic looking siding, so I used the rustic horizontal planking and the natural vertical planking, both of which are from the Horse Ranch game, or expansion pack, my bad. Most of the interior paint is white, or at least very neutral colored. For the kitchen counters and furniture, I tried to keep the wood tones very light. This home has 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. It also has the laundry room area over on the left side of the house. I tried to make this home for 2 parents, a little girl, a little boy, and then a teenage girl. Now for some basic facts about Wyoming. So to start, Wyoming was the 44th U.S. state. The name Wyoming comes from a Native American expression that means at the Big Plains. This is in reference to the high elevation prairies in some of the present day Wyoming. Also, the state capital of Wyoming is Cheyenne, and Wyoming's nickname is the Equality State. Some more nicknames that Wyoming can be known by are Big Wyoming, or the Cowboy State due to its rich Western history. Speaking of cowboys, Wyoming actually has a state code. It was initially called the Code of the West and was a set of rules that cowboys had unofficially agreed on. This code has 10 parts to it, these being number 1, live each day with courage. Number 2, take pride in your work. Number 3, always finish what you start. Number 4, do what has to be done. Number 5, be tough but fair. Number 6, when you make a promise, keep it. Number 7, ride for the brand. Number 8, talk less, say more. Number 9, remember that some things are not for sale. And finally, number 10, know where to draw the line. In saying this, the pioneers who started this code were guided by integrity and self-reliance in their decision-making. The official state motto of Wyoming since 1893 is equal rights. Since Wyoming is so receptive and open-minded to equality and equal rights, it's really no surprise that in 1869, it was the first state in the U.S. to allow women to vote and hold office. It was also the first state to have a woman governor. Nellie Taylor Ross led the state from 1925 to 1927, and to this day, she is the only female governor in Wyoming's history. Moving on, the state bird is the meadowlark, and the state flower is the Indian paintbrush. And speaking of plants and animals, the official state tree is the cottonwood tree, and the official state animal is the bison. The bison are very abundant in Wyoming, and the largest herd has over 500 animals. Interestingly enough, the state flag actually has a figure of the American bison on it. The bison symbolizes the local fauna, which was once the monarch of Wyoming Plains. The flag consists of 3 colors, which are red, white, and dark blue. The red is to symbolize the Native Americans and the blood of the colonists. The white represents uprightness and purity, and the dark blue is the color of the distant mountains and skies. The flag also symbolizes virility, fidelity, and justice. Another interesting fact, Wyoming is the second happiest and healthiest state in the United States. This is according to Gallup's National Health and Well-Being Index. According to some of its locals, the reason for this is because of the diversity of its landscape and its people, and also the weather. Also, while Wyoming is the 10th largest state in the U.S. by area, it is actually the least populous state in the country. According to census records, Wyoming's population as of 2021 was about 578,800 people. While that may sound like a lot, to put it in perspective, Rhode Island, which is the smallest state in the U.S., has an area of 1,212 square miles and has 1.096 million people as of 2021. Now let's talk about some of the most famous Wyomingites, or locals from Wyoming. These include Matthew Fox, who played Jack Shephard on the TV series Lost, John Buck, who was a Major League Baseball player for the Kansas City Royals, the Toronto Blue Jays, the New York Mets, and many more. And finally, Jackson Pollock, an American painter who was a major figure in the abstract expressionist movement. Now for some weird laws in the state of Wyoming, starting with the fact that it's apparently illegal to take a picture of a rabbit from January to April without an official permit. It is also illegal for women to stand within 5 feet of a bar while drinking. Another weird one is that it's illegal to spit on the steps of a school in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and also illegal to spit on the sidewalk in Jackson, Wyoming. The last weird law I have for you guys is that it's illegal to wear a hat in a public theater or place of amusement that obstructs a spectator's view. While it's a strange law, it's definitely understandable and should be done anyways, just out of courtesy for others. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could leave a like on this video, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you'd like to download this build for your game, my gallery ID is baileyboochis. I'll have all the information for this build in the description down below. I really hope you guys are enjoying this series, and please feel free to leave me any suggestions for the next state that I should do in the comments down below. Anyways, please enjoy the screenshots. Bye guys!